Hello and welcome. My name is Sharon Froshin. I am the Chief Operating Officer of the DiscoverYourPathU platform, where we believe that every life can teach and everyone can grow. To that end, I am also the host of this interview series, The Connection Sessions, in which we bring together practitioners, entrepreneurs, marketers, artists, spiritualists, mentors, and students to learn from each other and grow. With me today, I have possibly DYPU's biggest hype man, Steve, who has just been so wonderful as to keep conversation going in our group, to keep conversation going on our platform. He's an incredible life coach, a man who really knows how to get not only his clients, but just people in general worked up with his enthusiasm and his energy. So Steve, thank you so much for being with me here today. And if you wouldn't mind just sharing with us what brought you to life coaching and how do you channel all that amazing energy into the lives of your clients?
Crumbs, that's like two huge questions, isn't it, straight away? Well, where do I start? That's a very interesting question. Well, to be honest, I suppose coaching I've always kind of done throughout my life through mentoring, through pastoring, through youth work. And so coaching, I suppose, was kind of already in my blood, in my system, as part of my lifestyle anyway. But of course, I never used coaching. It was just work, I suppose, or just life. But I suppose I didn't really come to it until I decided I wanted to do some sort of course around, I think it was CBT or NLP. Oh, NLP, I think, was my major one because, of course, Tony Robbins, of course, everyone talks about him as being the highlight of everyone's, adventure. Yeah. So, I first saw him in Shallow Hal. And have you ever seen that movie?
Yes, I have. That's an amazing movie.
Oh my day, it's a fantastic movie. And I said to myself, right, I want to find out more about this guy, man. Who is he? And then, of course, I found out more about him, and I thought, wow, okay, I want to learn more about NLP. So then, of course, I came across this fella called Kane Ramsey. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of him. Have you heard of him?
Oh yeah, that's where I got my life coaching certification.
Oh yeah. So I did this course with this fella called Kane Ramsey, and then he did some other courses, and then he invited me to this community, and I think that's where I first met you, if I'm correct, Sharon Froshin.
Yes, that is correct, sir.
Yes, it was, and and it was cool, and I think I volunteered to be one of your victims, one of your volunteers. In one of our pods back then, back in the day, Sharon.
Yes, back in the day.
Back in the day, which ironically, Sharon, actually wasn't actually that long ago.
No, it wasn't. It was actually within a year.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, so amazing things have happened since then. So I got into it then. And the second question was around being a conduit for peace of mind. Do you know what? That's a fascinating question because I guess because my life is so chaotic, my mind's chaotic, my life's chaotic. If anybody knows how to bring a sense of peace within that, then that's me, because I've had to learn for my own sanity, for other people's sanity around me, how to do that. And I never considered myself as being any sort of peace of mind coach. Life coach, yeah, no problem. But peace of mind, never, ever. I mean, you've seen me. I'm like a little ball of energy. I'm here, there, and everywhere. So where did this peace of mind come from? And it's the fact that I've had so many people say to me, Steve, when I'm around you, I just feel so peaceful. I'm like, oh, I don't know where that comes from, but if that works for you, I'm going to go with it. You know what I mean? Who am I to argue with these people? And so it's something that, okay, well, maybe if this is something I've got, then maybe this is something I can bring. And so peace of mind is not necessarily always about that kind of being in that meditational state, True. Being in that now state. It's also about releasing people from the things that really weigh them down. So it could be things that have been said over their lives. It could be things that have been said, some lies or whatever. It could be just things that they keep telling themselves and they just aren't true. And I think that's one of the very first questions I learned, I think, in one of my courses was, is this true and stuff? And because I think we take on so many lies. And so just by helping people release them from the untruths in their life, oh my days, just seeing them light up and just be free. Sharon, it's just amazing. And
Isn't
of
it?
course, when someone's free, it gives them that peace of mind. And I love that.
Yes. Just to let you know, we have Monique, Andrea, and Susan Darling here with us today. Monique says hello. Andrea says, hi, Stephen, you have a loving heart. And Susan's giving you a shout out too, dude.
Oh, bless them. Mwah. I
Right?
don't even blow kisses, but mwah. I think I learned that of you, Sharon. You blow
Yes.
kisses.
That's a thing from my grandma. My grandma, bless her heart, who passed away at 93. Every time that you would leave, she would wheel her walker out to the edge, right up to the edge of the street on her property, and she would wave goodbye and kiss you, kiss her hand and wave
Oh,
goodbye as you left. So that's something that's always stuck with me, is just being, a full-hearted gesture.
yeah. And I've noticed I did like this wink thing at the end of some of my lives as well. And like, I used to take the mick out of Misty for doing hers. I mean, I love it when she does hers, but I've started, I think it's a nervous twitch when I do it. Yeah, I've noticed I do it. I don't know.
You're so
But I need to be
self-deprecating. I'm
aware of
sure
it.
it's brilliant.
No, I don't know. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, so
So
it's all
let's get
good. It's all
into
good.
this NLP thing. Like you, I got my life coaching as well as NLP, CBT, and hypnosis certificates from Kane Ramsey. And what was it from the courses that you took and that you continue to use in your own coaching that help you to get into that space of peace of mind? We're not so much where there's not craziness going on around you, because that was really good of you to point out that peace of mind doesn't necessarily mean that we're constantly like this. It's just the ability to deal with what's going on around us. So how did those courses help you?
I'm going to be brutally honest. When I did them, they kind of didn't, to a degree, because it was just, I guess it was just information in a course.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really, I suppose, until I started actually applying it and having the ability myself to do it, did I actually start to see it. And I suppose the more I started to believe in myself, the more that people said, hey, Steve, you can do this. You're good at doing this, taking what you've learned and applying it. So then that's, for me, what did the things kind of come in. So the things like kind of reframing, that wasn't too bad. I could do that because I'm quite clever with words. So I quite enjoyed that, and I was quite able to do that. And awareness and stuff like that, I'm okay at doing that. And you know what's really interesting, Sharon? I always thought to myself, I was a good listener. If you said, Steve, what's one of your gifts? I'd said, oh, I'm a listener. I'd be quite proud of that. But what I've learned now is actually I can be a better listener if I say a lot less. And that sounds really simple to say. Yeah. And I love that sense of powerfulness in the silence. And it kind of reminds me of those days of, I don't know if you've heard this phrase of, you have the right to remain silent. Has anyone ever said that? Right?
Unfortunately, somebody has said that to me before.
I'm saying nothing, right? Oh, I'm going a bit red. But there's something really beautiful about and powerful that I'm learning, like, in that silence, because when I spend that time, like, really in silence, listening to somebody, honestly, I really listen to them. And then when I'm able to, rephrase what they said or repeat what they've said, they're just blown away. They're like, wow, you really did listen. I'm like, yeah, huh? And it makes amazing difference to people. I never appreciated that before.
It really does, especially when you're not listening to formulate your response, but when you're genuinely listening to understand that person, to truly understand what would need to be true for this person to believe what they're saying, what would need to be false for them to believe what they're saying. And then when you begin to do that, like, listening takes on its own communication form where you're actually getting to interact with what the other person is saying without ever opening your mouth, and broadening your own horizon as a result.
Yeah, it is a beautiful thing. And I'm trying to kind of do, I think I do, I mean, I love it when Kane says this because I just think the word's funny, but the whole chunking up, chunking down, I can't even say it like
You've almost got the accent down, dude. I love it.
Just like, but I think I think I kind of do that automatically anyway, but I think I hear myself doing that a lot more now.
Agreed. And
And that
the
seems to work
questions
quite well.
the questions that you can use to get somebody to expand or focus in take 2 or 3 words if you do it right.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Isn't that powerful? That the ability to get somebody to expand their horizon or to focus in on a specific thing can be done so easily because the human mind cannot not answer a question. Even if the mouth doesn't give voice to it, the mind is still in the background answering it.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't know if it's my immaturity, but I do smile when that kind of happens because I've kind of caught people out a few times. And, people kind of expect you to respond in a certain way. But actually, when you're kind of working from within your power and stuff like that, and you kind of use these techniques, people are like, oh, I didn't mean to say that. Or where did that come from? Oh, I can't believe I'm telling you this stuff. How do you do that? Like, and it's like, well, I don't know.
Mm,
But yeah,
powerful.
no, it really is, and I think it is a gift. And when I mean gift, I mean like a present rather than kind of a natural gift. Do you know what I mean? It's something kind
Yes.
of beautiful to hold, not to kind of abuse people with, but to appreciate that you're holding someone's heart right there, you're holding someone's soul right there, and that's huge, absolutely huge, and a privilege.
And we can have a tendency as life coaches or NLP practitioners or hypnotherapists to forget that you really are holding somebody in your hands, that's our job, is to hold space for someone else to arrive at their own reality rather than trying to craft our version of reality around them. And that can be so tempting especially when you've been through a bunch of courses and you've done a lot of training and you have a lot of experience. It's very, very easy to fall into that trap of, well, I know what's best. So what are some of the ways that you keep that in check with yourself to make sure that you don't bleed into your client's reality?
I think I think it's about kind of that being honest with yourself and just allowing yourself to say, look, obviously this is what I went through, but just because I went through this doesn't mean to say that you're going through this. So it's
Mm.
about that kind of honesty and vulnerability and saying, look, I can empathize, but that doesn't mean to say I kind of know what you're going through. So
Mm.
there's that one level of, hey, this person can relate to me, this person has empathy, but then there's that extra level of saying, do you know what, I'm not you, so just because I felt like this doesn't mean to say that you do that. And so I constantly, I suppose, I constantly try and tell that to myself, that actually just because this is my experience doesn't mean to say it is theirs. And I think you're right. I think there is that kind of natural to go, hey, I could so relate to that. Do you know what I mean? I've got that. But actually, in reality, that may not actually be true at all,
And a lot of us we're compassionate care professionals. We wear our hearts on our sleeves. We genuinely want to help the people that we work with. And it's so easy to forget that just because that's your experience doesn't necessarily mean that that's the experience that your client is having. And part of holding that space and truly being compassionate with that person sitting across from you is acknowledging the authenticity of every person's individual experience and encouraging them to hold on to that. Wouldn't you agree?
Do you know what? I 100% agree. And the reason I agree is because, I didn't realize that I kind of fell into that trap a few times. But when I was aware of that, suddenly I was like, oh, okay, now I know I'm aware of this. I make other people aware. So when they start kind of coming from almost dictating from their experiences, I have to again remind them, well, actually, I hear what you say, and that's, that is your story, that is your truth. However, it doesn't mean to say that is the ultimate truth, the ultimate way.
Yeah.
Um, and again, that's such a beautiful life lesson to learn, Sharon. And because you're right. No, it is absolutely right. And it's also empowering for the other person to suddenly realize, because actually, I think so many people aren't aware that they do it.
Yes. And it's actually a form of awakening. At least it was for me. I'll speak from the I position. to truly come to the understanding that human beings do not get generated from a cookie cutter. We are not all the same. And we can have had the same exact experiences in life, but because of the differences in our emotional makeup, because of our ethnicity, because of the country from which we come from, we can have a completely different experience of the exact same event. And a lot of it goes to being siblings. So my sister and I grew up in the same house, but a completely different home. It was a completely different home life that she experienced than the one that I experienced, even though same locations, same people, same experiences, same truths. We had two completely different experiences. So how has starting with NLP helped you to truly grasp that and give your clients the space to have their own individual experience?
I think what NLP kind of gave me was that sense of that ability to kind of just really reframe things. And because I'm a reflector by nature, and I think NLP is beautiful for that, because you are able to reflect, reshape, reform, redress. There's a lot of rewords in that. And that, for me personally, the NLP model was such a beautiful thing for me to do, because it enabled me to do that, because there's so many techniques in there to do that. And it's amazing how just by reframing or tweaking, I love that word, tweaking. I mustn't say twerking, but tweaking. I do fall into that temptation sometimes to say that. But yeah, just by tweaking, again, it can just really open people up.
Yeah, I remember when I was first taking Kane's NLP course, and he did the reflecting back exercise with his wife, Karen. I was absolutely floored, never having really had anything to do with life coaching or NLP before, to see how deep into a conversation he could get with another human being just by using their own words back to them.
That was crazy. Do you know what? I watched that, and that was crazy, because it went very quickly deep, because, obviously in that situation, the person didn't realize, oh, this has happened. And then you could see the thinking behind them.
You could see the light ding going on up over her head. It was fascinating.
Yeah. And after like 20 minutes, this epiphany, this thing is like, whoa, what just happened to me?
Yes. And that's what you can bring.
You just use the words.
And you can bring so much revelation into somebody's life so quickly with little to no effort. I think that we have this tendency as life coaches, as compassionate care professionals, and even just as human beings, to believe that I have to be witty. I have to have this amazing command of my first, second, or third languages, and I have to be able to come up with this real original stuff to get through to people, failing to understand that you're not forcing yourself into the mind of another person. They are granting you access to help them. So it's not the same as trying out for a professional football team. It's being present, holding space, and giving your client the opportunity to have their own breakthrough rather than you needing to force or create it for them. Wouldn't you agree?
And also what I love about that particular exercise is actually you're proving to someone that you're listening to them.
Yes.
Right. And so many people go, oh, I don't feel listened to. You're not listening to me. Do you hear what I said? And you know what I mean? I'm like, but by repeating back exactly what you said, you're telling that person, no wonder, I heard what you just said. And not only do I hear what you just said, I'm questioning what you said, because I want to understand, is this what you said? Is this what you meant? And then that gives them permission to go, oh, crumbs, did I actually say that? Or didn't mean to say that. That's what you said,
Yeah, but even as they're having that revelation, they're being held in that space of knowing that somebody's genuinely listening to what I say, and not just to come up with their own response. They're actually listening to every single word I say.
Every single word, yeah.
Isn't that powerful?
Do you know what? Amazingly so. And, I have seen people brought to tears.
Yes.
Just by
really
knowing being listened to, it's brought them to tears.
Because we live in this society where we've bought into the idea of lack. So as life coaches, there's not enough clients. So I can't be myself. I have to go ahead and just reiterate whatever the most popular coach is doing, because that's how I know I'm going to get clients. And we get stuck in this idea that I can't be authentic. People don't want to know what I have to say. If I'm my true self, I'll be rejected. What will they think of me? And then
Mhm.
all of those clients that genuinely need exactly who you are, the way that you listen, the way that you talk, the way that you love, get cheated out of that opportunity because we're so busy trying to be someone else. That's just heartbreaking to me.
And as well, don't you find that we miss out on us as well?
Yes, we do. We do it to ourselves, and then our clients don't get the opportunity to see the truth of who we really are either.
No. And how can we show the truth to others if we don't even know the truth to ourselves?
Yeah, so along that vein, how have you used NLP and life coaching in your own internal work?
Oh, do you know what? You know, all these people that say, "Oh, I couldn't possibly be a life coach," and you know, and all these coaches go, "Of course you can, of course you can. That's just lack." And I'm like, no, seriously, I can't be one yet, because until I'm in a place where I've done that inner work, then actually I think it's dishonorable. If I'm honest, it's
Mm.
dishonorable to somebody else, because how can I ask people to be open, to be trustworthy, to delve deep, to deal with demons, to deal what they have to do, if actually I haven't done it?
That's so true. I remember when I got sober in Los Angeles, we were the VA that that this program was associated with. I had UCLA as their affiliate education partner, and UCLA would send over all of the people from their substance abuse school who wanted to get experience, and none of the veterans in this program would have anything to do with them the second that we found out that you weren't really an addict yourself, because then we know that you're not doing the 12 steps. You're not doing the same work that we're doing. And there's that human tendency to be like, wait a minute,
Mm.
and it's so true, Steve, that if we don't do our own internal work, if we don't keep up on our own issues, on our own limiting belief systems, on our own views of the world that keep us small, we're not providing that same level of presence with our clients.
No, and I really love this story. I keep coming back to the story, the whole kind of the person in the hole analogy, and kind of
Yeah.
just jumping in there with them, and that kind of that I've been in this hole, I also kind of know the way out. So if you want to come with me, you can. If not, see you later. But I'm happy to jump in with you here. And like you're looking at go, what? You're safe up there, but you're jumping in here with me. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely incredible.
And I loved what you said there about you'll jump in. Do you want to come? No. Okay, I'm going to move on, because we can have a tendency. A lot of coaches and compassionate care professionals are very, empathetic people. So we can have that tendency to, are you sure I can't help you? What if we try this? Let's do this. Let's do that. And not realizing that there is a moment of clarity that every person is going to come to in their life when they are ready to make the changes, not mom and dad, not the kids, not the spouse, not the boss, not the coworkers, not the friends. They are ready to make that change. And before that, we're just spinning our wheels. We really are.
Do you
So I
know? I
love
mean,
how you highlighted that.
I've got to be careful how I say this, and I hope you can hear what I say here. But I mean, I've done a lot of work with people who've been addicts,
Mm-hmm.
alcoholics, homeless people, and with the best will in the world, you can say to these people, I can help you, and I can take you away from this, right? But then what are you taking them away from? You're taking them from that community, right? And everything they know, their way of life, their identity. So perhaps you only see the homeless person, perhaps you only see the alcoholic or the addict. What you don't see is that actually they've got that community, they've got an identity within that community. They are
Mm-hmm.
somebody in that community. They are the Don, they are the go-getter, they are the fixer. Do you know what I mean? Whatever
Yes.
it is, they've got their own like little hierarchy, they've got their own system. So you take a do-gooder, so to speak, or a life coach, whatever it is, and you rescue that person. You think you're rescuing them, but actually you also have the potential to destroy them because they don't have that support circle, because suddenly they're surrounded by people who actually haven't got a clue what it's like, and you've just taken them away from that culture. So actually, have you done them any favors? Debatable.
That reminds me of during Obama's presidency, he decided that at the VA, they were going to do this program where there would be no homeless veterans. And you're so correct in that, because having had the experience that I had in Southern California, you would be surprised in a climate of 70 degrees surrounded by a highly democratic population who are willing to give and give and give, how many veterans are perfectly happy being homeless, like happy, no responsibilities, nothing. And then the society gets this idea that, oh, you poor thing, you know, you're, and the truth is I have no bills. I have money coming in from the VA. The VA will give me showers. It will give me clothes. Why would I want to be in the rat race when I could live on the beach and have this life? So it is really understanding the population that you're working with.
I think you're right. You've really got to understand those who you want to work with. And that's a beautiful thing as well, because again, a lot of coaches think, oh, I've got to work with a certain client group or people I'm not familiar with. Well, actually, if you're familiar with a group of people anyway, then why can you not do that?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've already got that level of understanding. You can relate. You know, you don't have to make it hard work.
No, you don't. You do not.
You know, I love making stuff hard work because I think I love challenges. I don't know.
Well, you are a Leo.
I have to be, you know, as hard as sometimes we make it, and I think that sometimes there's easier ways. You know, my dad always says to me, he says, Steve, if there's a hard way and an easy way, you're gonna find the hard way. Do you know what I mean? And I used to resent that when I was growing up. I was like, what are you saying? What are you saying? But the truth is, subconsciously, I did, because that's how I learned. But as I'm getting older, I'm like, do you know what? If there's an easy way, someone just tell me. I don't care.
Yes.
But I still love a good challenge, to be fair, if I'm honest. So,
Me too.
Easy would be nice sometimes.
Right? It sure would. I'm looking at the time, buddy, and believe it or not, our half hour is up.
Indeed it is.
I have so enjoyed having you on the show with me. Are there any last words that you'd like to give the audience?
I think, do you know, yes, I do actually. I think sometimes it's easy to look at people such as yourself, Sharon, and some of the Zen 10 people and some of these other people who we hold in high esteem, and think, again, like you said, that we have to be like these people or we will never be like them. But, you know, I'm thinking, and this freaks me out, that people go, oh, I want to be like that fella Steve because he's crazy, he's off his head, he just seems to be here, there and everywhere, he seems to be able to do all this stuff. I couldn't possibly do that. But the reason I am today where I'm at is simply because I've had that help and support, and I've been open to that. So, you know, the people who are watching, I am because of them. You know, I am because of you. I am because of others. And yes, you know, I've done my own internal work, but we are who we hang around with, literally. So, but so I just want to thank everybody who's obviously helped me along the road, and I'm not too proud to admit that I love them. So
awesome, Steve. Thank you for sharing that. Well, to our viewers, thank you so much for being with us here today. If you do catch this video after we're no longer live, go ahead and drop us a hashtag replay and just let us know that you were here and that you saw it. And if you really like what you saw, feel free to share it. Share it onto your timeline. Share it into a group of life coaches that you may know. Let us help other people by spreading this message of authenticity, and each one teach one, just letting your life teach. So thank you so much for being here with us today. We will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you again, Steve, and have a good afternoon, everyone. Mwah.
Thank you. Bye.